This is our project Endgame and Absurdism by Jenna, Ryan, Gracie, and James.
First off, I'll be introducing absurdism. The absurd is a topic that was introduced to us by Albert Camus, who believed that this idea kind of began with religious matters, such as the leap of faith that Kierkegaard had presented to us earlier in the year, because he believes that it is impossible to become absurd heroes if we are maintaining hope in anything other than ourselves. So moving on to what exactly the absurd is, which is simply put as the difference between what is expected and what is received. I believe there's a quote in Myth of Sisyphus that really explains or breaks down what the absurd is. Quote states, there are absurd marriages, challenges, rancors, silences, wars, and even peace treaties. For each of them, the absurdity springs from a comparison. I am thus justified in saying that the feeling of absurdity does not spring from the miscrutiny of a fact or impression, but that it bursts from the comparison between a bare fact and a certain reality, between an action and the world that transcends it. The absurd is essentially a divorce. It lies neither of the elements compared, it is born from their confrontation. And this comparison really is meant to sort of disrupt the way that we think and cause us to think, understand, and feel in a different way. Now I'll be introducing Endgame, which is a play written by Samuel Beckett to allow us viewers to see different characters' experiences, actions, thoughts, emotions, etc. And in this case, it'll be the characters' dialogue and interactions to ultimately try and give us those same feelings, which is what most plays of the theater of the absurd are trying to do. There are four main characters, which I'll touch on in a moment, all with different characteristics unique to them, which can be considered to be absurd. The play takes place in a single room with just two windows. The outside sounds like an ocean, so we could assume that they're near a body of water, but we don't know that exactly. But what we do know is that the world is ending. So the first character I'll be introducing is Ham. Ham is one of the protagonists of the play, but is also considered an antagonist to Clav. Ham is immobilized as he cannot stand up, and he's also blind. Clav is the second protagonist, and Ham is also the servant to Clav and cannot sit down as either. Nag and Nell are Ham's parents who are confined into ash bins or trash cans.
Okay, I'm going to be talking about the main character, Ham. So Ham controls all the other characters in the play despite being helpless and needy. So in theory, he should have no control because he's blind and he's wheelchair bound. However, all the other characters are centered around Ham and the things that he says and the things that he does. He makes a lot of claims that aren't true, and he forces his servant Clav to go along with his ideas, whether he likes it or not. He relies heavily on Clav both emotionally and physically. However, he treats him badly. He expects Clav to be his eyes and his legs, as well as his companion, but he consistently abuses and mistreats him. Ham also silences his parents whenever they speak excessively. He's equally as condescending to his parents as he is to his assistant. And lastly, he is afraid that his existence is cynical. So his greatest fear, like, often prompts the questions that he asks throughout the play. So in the play, Ham has many desires. The first one is companionship, because he wants Clav to stay with him and continue to be his eyes and his legs. He wants communication. He wants Clav to listen to his stories and engage with him, and he also wants him to agree with all of the absurd accusations and statements that he makes. And lastly, he wants to find purpose and meaning in his life. So he tries to find his purpose in life despite being in a wheelchair and also being blind. Throughout the play, he references things about wanting Clav to go and get his pain medication and wanting him to take his pills, but Clav is you don't need to take your pills and all this stuff, and it's basically saying that he's waiting for something to ease his suffering. So Ham demonstrates absurdism in the play through his desire for communication. It highlights the absurdity of human need for connection in a world where it seems impossible, because, they live in this cave-like thing as described in the play. No one really understands anyone. They have meaningless, repetitive conversations, but he still has that want for human connection. And also, he shows absurdism through his cynical outlook. So the outlook is parallel to the existentialist concept that individuals must face the inevitable absurdity of our existence and create their own purpose in a society that lacks obvious meaning.
Okay, so I'll be touching on Club a lot. So he's very submissive to Ham. He does occasionally stand up for himself. So here, like, to kind of get a background, kind of like Jenna touched on, Ham is very controlling over Club. So like he doesn't really have like many chances to actually stand up for himself. So when he does, like, it makes a big meaning in the play. He references the time in life and how repetitive it is. And also holds a deep sadness. So Clav is like basically dependent on Ham, like fully. In this way, he does feel defeated at times, and Ham earlier on is to believe to acquired Clav from his parents earlier on in his life. He constantly battles with the decision to leave Ham or stay. And similar to Ham, Clav has a cynical outlook on life and human existence. Character desires. So Clav wants to leave Ham, like stated before. Clarity on the true purpose, meaning of life. So from what I kind of got from this is like he has trouble finding the meaning of life because he doesn't really know any better, because from birth he was basically taken from his parents and just is controlled, doesn't really have the chance to think for himself, make decisions. He likes to explain the gray between the white and black, and it's the life you live between life and birth and death.
I'm also going to continue on Clav and absurdism. Kind of how it was just mentioned, like he's not able to make decisions for himself, and then also he really likes to focus on the gray in life, and he likes to tell stories on or stories and examples on how like things always refer back to the gray in life. That was mainly his point of view. And for the additional absurdism, or can you switch to the next slide?
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I didn't really know how to let you know, but
No, you're good.
For additional absurdism, Ham and Clav never obtained their desires and answered their outstanding questions regarding their life. This profiles the absurdity on the journey of finding meaning in life, and there's also a lot of repetition, and the characters often repeated a lot of their conversations and actions, simplifying the meaningless and absurdity of their existence as they do the same things without acting on their desires. And for the conclusion, Beckett presented this story that presented the story Endgame that was very sad and gloomy, and like the people that lived through the story Endgame were Ham and Clav, and the character Ham is an old man that likes to tell stories and mainly reference them on how life is nothing but white and black. The character Clav is Ham's friend and looks up to him, but also gets mad at him. Ham also acts as a mentor, telling him life lessons and also what he should be appreciative of. Because there's also multiple examples of Ham telling him to be appreciative, like for vision's sight. Like Ham was blind, and he'd always tell Clav to be appreciative of his sight before he loses it. And uh, that's also another reason why. That's also another reason why Ham looked into the black and white more, because he lost his vision, and um, his mindset started to change on life. And Clove liked to look on the gray of things because he was younger and was still enjoying life.